The last upload. They say home is where the heart is. But for Bobby, home was just a roof over his head. A roof that often leaked judgment and disappointment. He lived in a cramped joint family household, a living room that doubled as a study hall, a dining table that knew more arguments than meals. His parents had passed when he was just a kid, leaving him to grow up with his uncle, aunt, grandparents, and cousins. But he never quite belonged. Today was no different. Bobby sat in the corner of the room, eyes fixed on his phone, watching his latest vlog cross 10,000 views in under an hour. A quiet pride crept onto his face, but it didn't last. His uncle's voice broke the moment. Again with the camera? What do you think you're doing with your life? Bobby didn't reply. He had heard this lecture too many times to count. This content nonsense won't feed you forever. You need a degree, a real job. Think long term, Bobby. Your cousins are preparing for MBA, civil services, doing something real. Bobby looked up, finally meeting Uncle's glare. And I'm building something real too, he said. But you just don't see it. The room went quiet. His words hung heavy in the air. You want to chase illusion? Fine. But don't expect this house to support your dreams forever. The door slammed shut behind his uncle, and for a moment it felt like the whole house sighed in relief. Later that night, Bobby sat alone in his room. A small ring light glowed softly. The camera stared back at him, waiting. He hit record. Sometimes, he began, his voice low and tired. The people closest to you are the ones who believe in you the least. He paused, glancing at the wall covered in sticky notes and dreams. They don't understand that I am not chasing fame. I'm chasing freedom. I love my family, but I can't breathe here anymore. So I'm leaving. Not out of hate, but out of hope. This is the start of something new, and if you're with me, stay tuned. Click. The camera light died, and in the silence, something inside Bobby came alive. It was Bobby's third day at the new apartment. Boxes still lined the walls, half unpacked. The bed was a mattress on the floor, but the tripod was set, the camera positioned perfectly by the window. He hadn't filmed anything since moving in, but the urge to capture something, anything, itched at him like a habit he couldn't shake. Then there was a knock at the door. It was Ravi. Ravi had been Bobby's closest friend for years, the kind of friend who stuck around when Bobby had nothing, who stayed quiet when the camera turned on, and who laughed the loudest when Bobby's first vlog hit 1,000 views. They were inseparable. Shooting videos on the street, exploring market, making silly challenges in the apartment. Ravi was there, always slightly behind Bobby, often half in the frame but never fully part of the spotlight. But as the subscriber count grew, something shifted. Bobby began filming everything. Random people on the street, couples arguing, strangers sneezing without masks, vendor hanging with tourists. No one was safe from the lens. He called it raw life. Raw life. Ravi called it invasive. Bro, you don't need to film every second. Ravi said one afternoon as Bobby recorded a street performer and then spun the camera onto a beggar sleeping nearby. People have bad days. Not everything's your content. Bobby laughed it off. People love real stuff, you know. It's what makes me different. Honest and unfiltered. But there's a line, Bobby. The conversation ended there, but the discomfort didn't. A week later, they sat at a cafe they used to frequent, but this time Robbie seemed distant. Bobby had placed the camera on the table, casually recording the meal. You, you are recording this too? Robbie asked, not hiding the irritation in his voice. Come on, Bobby grinned. People love our chemistry. The Robbie Bobby duo. They even comment on it. Yeah, but I didn't sign up to be your content man. I just wanted to hang out like before. Bobby's smile faltered. The lens stayed on. I'm not trying to disrespect you, Ravi continued. But you've you don't even talk to me without the thing anymore. It's like you're only present if you're being watched. Silence. Bobby didn't reply. Not really. Just stared for a second, then muttered. Whoa. So now I'm the bad guy. I didn't say that, Bobby interrupted. You think I've changed, huh? That I'm some fame obsessed clown. Ravi exhaled and stood. I think you need to ask yourself why you're doing all this. I'm done being part of something I didn't agree to. Saying that, he walked away. The camera kept rolling. A few days later, Bobby uploaded a video titled, Why My Best Friend Left Me. He sat in front of the lens, eyes low, voice steady but clearly emotional. He said, I've changed, that I'm not the same. Maybe he's right, but when you finally start to matter in the world, it's hard to turn it off. He walked away. I didn't. The comments poured in. You don't need fake friends like him. Ravi is jealous. You've got us, Bobby. We'll never leave. Bobby smiled at the screen. He felt seen again, loved, defended. He never reached out to Ravi after that. The apartment was quiet. For the first time in weeks, Bobby had no one around. No family interrupting his shots, no Ravi sitting across from him, rolling his eyes at the camera. Just him, the lens, and the echo of online applause. He stood by the window with a cup of tea, half awake, watching the morning fog lift from the street below. His mind wandered. New video ideas, thumbnails, whether to address Ravi again. But then something caught his eye. A woman. She She stood on the opposite side of the road, not moving, only watching. Her hair was tied back hastily, her arms clutched at a large handbag tightly to her chest, and her eyes, they darted from side to side, scanning the street like she expected someone to appear from the shadows. She started walking, hurried, but not quite running. Then she paused at the gate of the building across Bobby's and looked back one last time. Her face, just for a second, flickered with something close to fear. She disappeared into the building. Bobby narrowed his eyes. The moment replayed in his head like a scene from a thriller. Suspicious behavior, unexplained nerves, a hidden story. Without thinking, he grabbed his camera. He filmed the building, zoomed in on the gate, rewound the footage, and played it again. She hadn't seen him, but the camera had captured everything. Later that day, he uploaded a short vlog. The woman is acting weird. Is something going on? His tone was playful, half joking, but the viewers, they were hooked. Something's definitely up. Do a follow up. Go talk to her next time. The comments rolled in, the views spiked. Bobby sat in his chair scrolling through reactions, grinning. For a moment, he forgot the silence of the room. For a moment, he didn't miss Ravi. Bobby was editing his latest vlog, a follow up to The Mysterious Woman. He added eerie music, slow motion zooms, and the dramatic caption Still watching her, something's off. The video had blown up, comments flooded in, theories, speculations, even people saying they saw her too. He leaned back in his chair, eyes sparkling with adrenaline. Then a loud knock broke the silence. Urgent, angry. Bobby's heart skipped. Another knock. Louder. He grabbed his camera. Guys, someone's at the door. I think we've got something crazy here. He whispered to the lens. He opened it and froze. It was her. The woman, the one from the building across the street. Disheveled, fuming, chest heaving. Before Bobby could say a word, she lunged forward and slapped the camera aside. What the hell is wrong with you? She yelled. You're filming strangers now? Uploading lies? You're messing up with my life. Bobby stepped back, shocked but still filming. Whoa, relax. You look suspicious. I just posted what I saw. You don't know anything, she spat. You don't know what you've started. Then explain it, Bobby shot back. If you've got nothing to hide, why are you? She pointed a shaking finger at him. You don't get to demand anything. You think this is all a game? Like, and followers? Her voice trembled, but her eyes were on fire. You don't even realize how dangerous you've made this. Bobby blinked. Dangerous for who? I showed people what they saw. She took a step closer. You think you're a hero with a camera, huh? You don't see how quickly this turns on someone's life. One click, one stupid title, and now people are after me. The neighbors had gathered again. Quiet murmurs echoing up the corridor. The woman noticed. She turned and walked away without another word. Bobby stood in the doorway, the camera still rolling. That night, he uploaded the footage with the title, Confronted by the Suspicious Woman. You won't believe this. The video exploded. Theories deepened. Some claimed she was hiding a criminal past. Others said she was part of a scam. Bobby read the comments one by one, each word feeding something inside him. And then, silence. The door, the empty room, the glow of the screen. He laid back, staring at the numbers climbing, the love, the fire, the noise. The morning sun slipped through the blinds, casting faint stripes across Bobby's cluttered apartment. He stayed awake on the couch, phone still in hand, notifications buzzing like flies. 2.4K plus comments, trending number 6. Hero Bobby gaining tractions. A smirk crept onto his face. He tapped open the app, comments flooded in. You did the right thing, bro. That woman gave off serial killer vibes. You saved the neighborhood. He stretched, dragged himself towards the kitchen to make coffee, and flicked on the television in the background. That's when he heard it. A young woman in her late 20s was found dead in her apartment early this morning. The mug slipped slightly from his hand. He turned. The screen showed the image of a woman. Her, this frozen mid blink, her photo from the confrontation video, now framed in red and yellow graphics. Sources confirm the identity matches the woman seen in a viral video circulating since yesterday. Bobby's heart slammed into his ribs. No way. The news anchor continued. Authorities are investigating the incident as possible homicide. The cause of death remains undisclosed, but early reports suggest foul play. He stared at the screen, eyes wide, hands trembling. Was this real? Did I cause this? He dropped onto the couch. The screen caught to social media reactions, his own video playing, clips of him confronting her, her anger, her voice trembling. And then it got to the public comments. She had it coming. This is why we need people like Bobby. Coincidence? I don't think so. He felt sick. The weight of 1,000 eyes watching him no longer felt like validation. It felt like pressure, heat, a spotlight turning into a crosshair. And then the messages began from reporters, from strangers, from trolls. 2 days. That's all it took for everything to flip. Bobby had gone from being a rising icon to being the guy who exposed a murdered woman online. His video, once celebrated, was now dissected frame by frame on news panels and true crime YouTube channels. Did this content creator push her into danger? Internal justice or digital harassment? The same people who cheered his bravery were now questioning his morals. He sat on the edge of his bed staring at the screen, at the thumbnail of his own face beside Maya's photo. His inbox was drowning. This is you. Hope you're proud. You should be arrested. He tried posting a video to clear things up. Said he didn't know. Said he was just observing. Said he never meant harm. But he didn't land. The comments were brutal, ruthless, unforgiving. Suddenly, a knock echoed from his door, soft at first, then louder, more insistent. Bobby froze, his heart hammered in his chest. They were here. They were coming. There were also people standing on the sidewalk, staring up at his windows, a group watching him, waiting. Panic clawed at him. He couldn't stay here. His phone buzzed again. More messages, more tags. He slammed it face down on the table. His body moved before his mind could catch up. Without thinking, he grabbed a jacket and ran. Bobby showed up at Ravi's apartment, pounding on the door, voice trembling. Ravi opened it. He blinked when he saw Bobby, face flushed with fear. Dude, what's going on? Ravi asked, taking a Bobby's disheveled look. They, they're everywhere, Bobby gasped. On my phone, on the street. They're tagging me. coming to my place. Ravi didn't hesitate. He stepped aside. Come in. Bobby collapsed on the couch, shaking. Ravi sat next to him, silent for a moment, just watching him. I never meant for it to get this far, Bobby muttered, burying his face in his hands. I know, Ravi said softly, but it has. He paused. Stay here until things calm down. Bobby looked up. There was no anger in Ravi's eyes, just concern. He nodded gratefully. You filmed a scared woman and turned her into a villain for views, Ravi said, calm but firm. Bobby winced. I didn't know. That's the point, Ravi cut it. You didn't know, but you still posted it. The words sank like stones. For once, Bobby didn't defend himself. He looked up. People hate me now. They're saying I'm the reason she's dead. Let's figure it out together, Ravi said, leaning forward. Actually, I wanted to show you something. I've been reading, looking at the comments. Some old forum. Something's off, you know. Bobby raised an eyebrow. She didn't just act nervous, Ravi said. She was hiding from someone. I found an old thread, a private woman's safety forum. Someone using the name Maya after 9 wrote about a stalker. She said he had found her once already and she had to move again. Bobby's breath caught. She wrote that she didn't want to go to the police yet because she didn't have proof. Ravi added that she was trying to disappear for a while. Until I filmed her, Bobby interrupted. Ravi nodded. The day you uploaded her face, the post stopped. Everything around Bobby blurred. He realized he had made her visible to the wrong person. What now? Bobby asked. I think this will help the police look for the real culprit. Bobby was beginning to think that maybe, just maybe, the storm had passed. Because everyone was now after the stalker whom no one had ever seen. The police, the news channels coming up with new suspects every day. The messages had slowed, the news coverage died down, and for the first time in days, he was able to breathe without feeling like he was being watched from every angle. But then it started again. It was subtle at first, just a few new comments under his videos. People pointing out how Bobby had made someone else's life a living hell. The more he scrolled, the worse it got. And then came the posts. The anonymous account uploaded a video, a familiar one. It was from his own vlog, the one where he confronted a woman across the street. But this time it had been edited, cut in a way that painted Bobby as the villain. His voice was distorted, the comments twisted into accusations. The video itself was titled, How One Man Destroyed Another's Life for Views. The account uploaded more. Each one was another example of Bobby's video ruining lives. A man who had been harassed after Bobby filmed his argument in a parking lot. A woman whose identity was revealed after Bobby filmed her walking down the street. People Bobby didn't even remember filming. Bobby's chest tightened. Someone was out to ruin him. But who? He sat at his desk scrolling through the comments. The hatred, the anger, the sense of betrayal. It was building again. His face had become a symbol of every internet outrage. And Bobby's phone buzzed. It was a message from Ravi. I need to show you something. Bobby didn't waste time. He met Ravi at his apartment, his mind spinning with the events at the past week. Ravi was sitting on the couch, his laptop open, a grim look on his face. Look at this, Ravi said, tapping on the screen. It was another video. But this time the focus wasn't Bobby. It was the woman from the building across the street. Maya, who was dead. That's not all, Ravi continued. I found the account that's been uploading this. It's linked to a name, someone close to her. Bobby's stomach lurched. Who? Ravi turned the screen towards him. Her sister Ria. Bobby stared at the screen, his heart racing. It was Maya's sister, the woman who had been silently watching the wreckage unfold. I don't get it, Bobby said. Why is she doing this? She thinks you're the reason Maya's dead, Ravi replied, his voice tight. She believes you filming her caused a stalker to find Maya's location. She wants revenge, and she's trying to ruin your life, one video at a time. We need to confront her. She's too focused on blaming you to see what really happened. Bobby and Robbie stood outside Ria's apartment, a quiet tension settling between them. The hallway felt colder than it should, as if the building itself sensed the weight they carried. For a long second, neither of them moved. Then Robbie knocked. The door opened a moment later. Ria stood there, eyes tired, guarded but sharp with pain. She looked past Bobby and focused on Robbie. Oh, so you're here to apologize, she blurted, voice low and cutting. Bobby stepped forward, but Robbie gently held him back and spoke first. No, Ria, we're not here to defend what happened. Bobby knows what he's done. He's been dragged through the mud, harassed, tagged, threatened. He can't even go home. He's suffering. That part of punishment is already happening. Ria didn't speak, but her arm folded, jaw tight. Ravi continued, his voice softer now. But but this isn't about clearing his name. It's about Maya. The real question is who did this to her? Who actually took her life? Ria's gaze flickered, the fire behind her eyes dimming just slightly. We think there's more to this, Ravi said. A lot more. And we can't figure it out without looking deeper. But if we keep fighting each other, we're only helping the one who actually did it. There was silence. The words hung heavy between them. Ria finally looked at Bobby, really looked at him. The man who once proudly flaunted his following now looked hollow, worn down by guilt. Her eyes lingered on him for a bit longer than before. She didn't say a word, just stepped back and slowly closed the door without a sound. Ravi turned to Bobby. That's the most we're getting for now. Bobby nodded silently. They walked away, not with victory, but with a small shift, like a door that had been left slightly ajar behind them. The boys sat in the dim glow of laptop screen, sitting through the endless comment threads from Maya's confrontation video. Most of the comments were drowning in noise, lost in sea of reactions, but something caught Robbie's eye. An odd comment buried among thousands of others. Crazy woman, I wish she rots in hell. God punishes everyone for their deed. At first, it seemed like just another angry rant, but the more Robbie thought about it, the more it felt off. The user's name was Shikha, and the bitterness in her words seemed too personal, too knowing. Bobby leaned in, glancing over Robbie's shoulder. Who's Shikha? Is she connected to Maya? I'm digging deeper, Robbie muttered, clicking through more posts. As he followed the digital breadcrumbs, he found it. Maya had been involved with Shikha's husband. The thread painted a story of an affair, betrayal, and deep hidden resentment. The comment about Maya's death wasn't random. It was a direct response to her relationship with the woman's husband. Ravi's finger hovered over the keyboard. Shikha, Shikha, she's been watching Maya. This isn't some random person venting. She knows something. They exchanged a look. This could be the lead they needed. Bobby's voice was tense. Where is she now? Ravi scrolled through the social media links and cross referenced them with public records. After a few minutes of searching, he found an address. Here. It's just outside the city. We should go there. The two of them wasted no time. Within an hour, they found themselves standing in front of a modest house, the air thick with tension. They rang the bell, and after a few moments, an elderly woman opened the door. Her eyes were sharp but softened by age. Can I help you? She asked, glancing curiously at the two men. We are looking for someone named Shikha, Bobby said carefully. We were told she might have lived here. The old woman's face stiffened, and she sighed deeply, as if remembering something painful. Shikha? That's my daughter. She's not here anymore. She left with her husband to another city. Been gone for months now. Bobby and Ravi exchanged a glance. Do you know where they went? Ravi asked, pressing further. The old woman shook her head slowly. I don't know, dear. They were going to start over somewhere, far away from all this. Bobby's frustration was growing, but Robbie stayed calm, nodding politely. Thank you. If you remember anything else, let us know. With no answer, they turned to leave. When the woman called.
Maybe, just maybe, they went to Sammy's dream place, Moku, a small town few hours away.
Thank you. Bobby replied with a soft smile. They packed up determined to find answer they were seeking. When they arrived in the new city, they went straight to a house Grandma had suggested. And luckily, they found Sikha's husband first, a tall man in his late 30s with a guarded demeanor. He seemed nervous when they approached him. We're looking for Sikha, Bobby said bluntly. She was involved with Maya. We need to know what happened. The man's expression flickered for a moment. Then he forced a neutral face. Shika? She's not around anymore. What do you mean? Bobby asked. We've been through a lot. I don't think. Before he could finish, they heard a door creak open behind him. A familiar figure stepped into view, her long dark hair and sharp eyes piercing the air between them. It was Maya. The boys froze, the pieces of the puzzle suddenly shifting into their minds. Maya stood there alive, far too alive. But it wasn't just her unexpected appearance that sent a chill down their spines. It was the way she stood next to the man, Sikha's husband, the way their body language mirrored each other, as if they had always been together. Maya, Bobby whispered, his heart pounding in his chest. What the hell is going on? Maya gave a small cold smile. I told you, Bobby, you have no idea what you have stepped into. Robbie's mind was racing. He had always suspected that there was more to the story that made the eye. But this was something else. They were supposed to be investigating a murder, but now it felt like they were on the verge of uncovering something far darker. Suddenly, everything clicked. Ravi's voice trembled as he spoke. This isn't possible. The woman who died, it wasn't you. It was Shika, wasn't it? Maya's expression didn't change. You're getting closer. Yes, Shika died. We we had to get rid of her. She was in the way. Bobby felt his stomach drop. You killed her? Shika's husband stepped forward, his voice tight. It was necessary, you know. We were in love, Maya and I. Shika was just an obstacle. Maya's eyes glinted with a dark satisfaction. We staged her death, made everyone think I was gone, and now we can finally be together forever. The truth hit Bobby like a ton of bricks. The woman everyone had thought was dead, the woman they had mourned, wasn't Maya. It had been Sikha all along. Maya had faked her death and manipulated everyone into believing she was a victim, when in reality, she had been the mastermind behind it all. Shika had been the one who died, and her killers were standing right in front of them. Bobby's head spun. He wanted to scream, to shout out in disbelief, but all he could do was stare at the woman who had played them all, pulling the strings from the shadows. Maya wasn't just alive, she was a predator, one who had used death as a means to escape and manipulate the people around her. And now they were trapped in a web. The silence after Maya's confession was suffocating. Bobby and Robbie stood frozen, the weight of truth crushing down on them. Maya's tone shifted. No more games. You weren't supposed to come this far, she said quietly, stepping closer. Her boyfriend, Shika's husband, pulled something from behind the door. A crowbar, heavy, cold. Ravi instinctively backed up, whispering Bobby, We need to leave now. But Maya stepped in front of the door, her voice low and steady. You won't be leaving. You know too much. Her boyfriend moved to block the only other exit. It's nothing personal, just survival. The room closing. Bobby's heart pounded, his brain scrambling for a way out. You killed an innocent woman, he said, trying to buy time. You really think you'll get away with it? Maya laughed, cold and final. We already did. Just as her boyfriend raised the crowbar ready to strike, a loud knock echoed from the front door. Everyone froze. Then came a voice, familiar, steady, and chillingly calm. Maya, step away from them! Now! It was Ria. She stood in the doorway holding her phone up high, live streaming. The red recording icon flashed unmistakable. Maya's face drained of color. Ria's voice cut like a knife. I had a feeling. I saw the comment too. And I knew you weren't the victim you pretended to be. So I followed them. Hit record before I came in. Her eyes met Maya's. You always played the victim. Even as a child. The boyfriend stepped towards her, furious. Turn that off! Ria didn't flinch. It's live already. Thousands are watching, including the police. If you move towards me, you'll both be hunted. Ravi took the opportunity to grab Bobby's arm and drag him towards Ria. Let's go. But Maya wasn't done. Her voice cracked with rage. You little. Ria stepped forward. You manipulated everyone, but not anymore. Maya stared at her, shaking, not with fear but fury. Her perfect plan was unraveling. As Bobby and Robbie rushed out with Ria, Maya screamed behind them. You think this is over? You think the world will believe you? Ria looked back once, eyes stilly. They already do. Outside, sirens began to wail in the distance. Bobby finally breathed. Ravi collapsed against the car. Gia stopped recording and whispered, we are not safe yet, but now the world knows who she really is. Sirens faded as Maya and Rajiv were hauled into custody. The three sat on the edge of the footpath, catching their breath. Ria held out a water bottle to Bobby. Bobby smirked as he took it. How the hell did you know we were here? You slammed the door in our face. I thought you'd never stop blaming me. Ria sighed, looking ahead. I was pissed off. Thought you wanted more juicy content out of my sister's death. So I started following you guys. And that's how I ended up here. For good, maybe. Bobby raised an eyebrow. Well, lucky your timing's still creepy. Ria chuckled. You always end up in weirdest situation. What is with you and dangerous woman? Bobby took a sip, wiped his mouth, and grinned. Hey, I thought this was actually normal. Ravi smirked and teased. That's your problem. You go to normal and still end up getting almost murdered. Ria nudged Bobby with her elbow. You're lucky I have soft spot for idiots. Bobby laughed. Guess I should get that pin on t-shirt. Saved by Ria again. Ravi leaned back, resting on his elbow. So, what now, Bobby? Another blog? A dramatic thumbnail saying I survived a killer couple? Bobby shook his head. His tone more grounded now. No, man. I think I'm done with all that. Ria raised an eyebrow. Wait, really? Ravi glanced at him. You're quitting vlogging. Bobby nodded slowly. Yeah, I started all this to feel like I mattered to someone. But somewhere along the way, I stopped mattering to myself. Ria softened, looking at him more closely. So, what will you do? Bobby looked at the sky, then back at them. Film stories that matters, not viral, not flashy, just real. No more chasing strangers, no more pretending I've got it all figured out. Ravi smiled. Oh, deep. Ria added with a smirk. Are you sure you're Bobby? The guy who once made a vlog after reviewing 5 brands of bottled water? Bobby laughed. That video had a strong message. Ravi chuckled. Yeah, I have no content today. They all laughed, the tension finally melting into something easier, lighter. The camera is set up for the final time. Bobby sits calmly, the lighting simple. Bobby looked into the lens and said, this is my last vlog. Not because I've lost interest, but because I finally found something better. Myself. I chased love, I chased attention, but I never really stopped to ask why. Now, I just want to create quietly, and honestly, He smiled, almost at peace. Bobby reached forward and turned the camera off. The city bustled in the background as Bobby walked with his camera bag. He stopped to film street vendors, a little girl laughing, a dog chasing a leaf. That wasn't for view, just for meaning. Robbie jogged up beside him. "You're still filming," Bobby replied. "For me this time." Ria appeared behind them with coffee in hand. Ria handed him a cup and teased, "You forgot your cringe again." Bobby looked back with a smile. "Let it in the past, right where it belongs." They walked together into the morning light.